Hello, I'm Nigel Hughes and I'm a Scientific Director in the Epidemiology Group of Global R&D at Janssen, and I'm also the Project Lead, so co-coordinating EHDEN with Professor Peter Reinbach at Erasmus Medical Center. So as Project Lead, I cover actually all work packages and activities within EHDEN, and working with Peter, we're focused on the strategy, the operationalization of EHDEN, ensuring that we support all the deliverables and activities and tasks and so forth, but certainly ensuring that we reach not only the goals and aims within Innovative Medicines Initiative of EHDEN, but actually our long-term sustainability, of course, as well, beyond the original RMI phase, kind of a start-up activity, if you like. Actually, as part of EHDEN, certainly in the longer term, sustainability is a response to a really significant need. Well, not just within Europe, within regards to EHDEN, but also globally, internationally, is around upskilling and training. We are really working to liberate the opportunity to utilise data under all the right conditions and governance in health to answer so many questions that we all have across the healthcare domain, within industry, in academia and so forth. But actually, a really strong limitation in terms of how many people literally are capable and are available to conduct working with data at source, in terms of mapping it to the overall common data model under the right conditions, but also then doing standardized analytics with the analytical pipeline and tools from Odyssey, and clearly the interpretation work, but also the kind of methodological development and so forth as well. Another particular unique aspect of EHDEN is the fact that we, for free, have trained and certified small to medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, in a consistent reproducible methodology and mapping source data to the common data model. And that's who our data partners contract and work with. So one of the things we did is we created what we now call the EHDEN Academy. We launched it publicly in April 2020. But that has been used to train these SMEs, and we've now trained and certified 64 SMEs in 23 countries across Europe. I mean, a completely unique resource. No one else has done this anywhere on the planet. So we have 23 countries with these 64 SMEs who are all businesses in their own right. They are working, contracting with the data partners to conduct the mapping work, but they're also working with their own customer base, also developing tools, skills and methods in the domain and so forth. A really remarkable resource, not just in Europe, but also many of them work internationally and globally. But it can't stop there. As I say, we have to also work with the current and future data scientists, epidemiologists, biostatisticians, real-world evidence experts and so forth, and expanding and upskilling that valuable workforce. It's something that's been recognised by many, including the European Medicines Agency, the European Commission, as well as within academia and industry too. So the EHDEN Academy, actually we launched that, say, publicly in April 2020, and academy.ehden.eu. And that's been expanded also to have courses and learning pathways in tools, skills and methods, in being able to work with mapped data sets, conduct appropriate analyses in the right methodologies and so forth, optimal outputs in terms of evidence generation and good science. As of now, we have really in the region probably around 3,000 enrollees, i.e. people who have taken courses across almost 70 countries worldwide. I mean, this is truly remarkable. We haven't exactly promoted it globally, but it's been used, it's free, it's been used by many internationally as a consequence. All self-directed adult learning. We have 17 courses on the Academy. Some of those like an ETL learning pathway. We've created a new learning pathway with our colleagues from the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence, NICE in England, around health technology assessment. We want to do the same in due course around regulatory science, also in terms of particular methodological aspects as well. So truly a great resource that we're very proud of in terms of what's been developed voluntarily by our experts within Odyssey and EHDEN, but also in terms of the uptake from people all over the world. And we will continue to expand the courses and learning pathways, but we're also starting to collaborate also with other academies. So there are a number of academies, for instance, HDR UK, in the UK, the Get Real Institute, the Institute for Innovation through Health Data, all have academies. We're looking at a kind of a collaboration between those academies and support, if you like, federated learning, common curricula and so forth. So we're starting the basis for that engagement. We've had interactions with colleagues from southern India, for instance, with academic centres there, and commercial entities as well who are involved in training and education. And we're also discussing within the Odyssey education group, which I also facilitate, with colleagues from the regional chapters, for instance, in Southeast Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, Australasia, Latin America and North America, and of course here in Europe. Again, looking at localizing the needs in terms of what people are looking for training, particularly training versus education, because it's more about upskilling to ensure what people are doing now, not necessarily in terms of postdoctoral education, for instance. We have a number of academic institutions that support more advanced training education as well. Erasmus, Oxford, Northeastern in the United States with the Odyssey Institute there, Columbia University, of course, where Odyssey is centred. And then beyond this too, we've gone at the other end of the spectrum as well. For instance, we've worked with the European Patients Forum, partner in EHDEN, which is fantastic. And we've developed a learning pathway for kind of non-experts, shall we say, but lay public, patient organisations, non-technical colleagues in understanding real-world data, real-world evidence, federated data networks, the common data model, the context around privacy and governance of that, and general data protection regulation, of course, GDPR. And actually subsequent modules will also look at more specialised aspects, things like patient-reported outcomes, patient-generated data and so forth. So we are aiming to reach a broad spectrum, an audience in terms of education and training, very emphasis on training, really develop these learning pathways that are kind of fit for individual needs in this app-directed manner. And we will incorporate that within the legal entity, the not-for-profit for EHDEN, maybe in the new year actually, in 2023, but beyond that. And we really see this as an important resource that accompanies the work we're doing in terms of standardising, industrialising data using the common data model across the European region and supporting evidence generation, a really integral aspect of how we're conducting our work across this whole open science community and meeting its needs. It's critically important.